So hi Karan, my name is Aman Upadhyay. Basically, I was born in Uttar Pradesh, raised in Assam, and then I did my engineering from Bangalore. I did like 2 years job there as well.
Okay,
Right
great.
now, pursuing MBA from SIBM, as you know. So yeah,
Yeah,
I heard a lot
nice
about
to
you,
meet
and
you.
great,
Yeah,
great, great. Shubham keeps on telling us about about you. So yeah.
yeah, thank you. Glad to know that.
Hi
Yeah,
Karan,
so
this is
Yeah,
Prabodh
hi, Sim.
Gupta.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Ludhiana, Punjab. I have done my BCom honors from Delhi University.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here. Heard a lot about you from Shubham. It's great to know you and your startup as well.
Thank you, thank you. Happy to know that. Yeah.
Hi Karan, Rashika here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Born and brought up in Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, and I've done my graduation in BBA and I'm a fresher, so currently pursuing MBA from SIVM and I'm a professional Kathak dancer as well. I hope to
Oh,
have a wonderful session with you.
great, great. Looking forward. Yeah.
Hi, Karan. This is Brijesh.
Mm.
Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm also good. Thank you for
Great.
asking. So
Mm.
I put up in Delhi and I have done my graduation in BBA. So looking
Mm.
forward to be an entrepreneur. And yeah, that's it, I believe. Like any Karthik, you can go ahead.
yeah, hi Karan. I'm
Yeah,
Karthik
hi.
and I'm from Delhi. I did my graduation in manufacturing process and automation engineering from NSIT. I believe that in problem solving and like creating and innovating new things. So that's why I have joined the SIBM Pune and in innovation and entrepreneurship. I'm glad to know you better
Yeah,
and have
great,
you.
thanks. Yeah.
Hi, Karan. Vanshika this side. I'm born in Lucknow, brought up in currently I'm in Hyderabad. I'm a BBA graduate and a fresher. And yeah, nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks.
Good evening, Karan. This is Suyash this side. My name is Suyash Goenka. I did my BCom honors from St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, and like currently doing my MBA from SIBM Pune. And like as
Mm-hmm.
of now, there's an ideation process in my mind. So coming with a startup, so like getting
Mm-hmm.
more interaction with you would actually help us to know better and
Mm-hmm.
completely make that ideation into a total groundsel. So we are
Mm-hmm.
glad to have you here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me, guys. It's really nice meeting you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have an engineer, director, a young and dynamic entrepreneur, and a very good friend of mine, Karan Raj Mehta. Karan is the founder and CEO of Milo Doctor, and also he is one of the directors of Dhatu Online. So let's start this interactive session. So, Karan, can you brief me a little about your company and what's the story behind it?
Okay, so thank you for having me, Subham. So it's really nice to be into a organization like that. So thank you. So my name is Karan Raj Mehta. So I started my company 3 years back with the aim to organize the hepatitis healthcare scenario. So the point which hit me hard was when I went to an orthopedic doctor with my grandmother. She was 80+year old, so she has to wait for around 4 hours for just a 10-minute consultation. And when I look around, I saw that all the grandparents were suffering from the same, the pathetic condition of hospitals, that uneasy smell and all. So I thought that okay, I should do something to change this. Despite my background was civil engineering, so I wasn't having the idea of coding and all, like making a website or something like that. So I went back. I thought that what things I can do to organize this. I searched on the internet. I found about a venture, Kolkata venture company, who were an incubator company. So I applied there. I went into incubation for the next 4 months. I developed my product, which is basically a website. And I went to popular doctors of my town. Like said, you were having a very good crowd, and I guess I can manage the whole crowd, and I can give easiness to the people which you are serving as well, right? To impact society in a positive way. So initially they were like, you're just 19 or 20-year old, how can you manage me, or how can you manage my clinic, which is having 100 of people on daily basis. So initially a few doctors trusted on me after lots of meeting. So we started giving them regular appointments. We were making lives of people easier by giving them scheduled appointments rather than waiting for 4 or 5 hours in a particular place. They were just having a 10 to 15-minute consultation with the doctors, and they can just walk out from the clinic. So this was creating a good impact among those doctors. So we started scaling up. We added good doctors and good hospitals of the Dhanbad city. Then we scaled up to Ranchi. In the meanwhile, there was a program going on from the Startup India division of the central government that was called Startup India Mission. And in that, there was Atal Bihari Vajpayee Innovation Lab, who were funding government startups and encouraging them to develop employment opportunities in the state. So we got selected into that, and after that we are scaling it up a really good at a good level. But then pandemic hit us hard, so that was a very tough period for us. So in the midst of 2020, to make the company survive, as it was still at a very nascent stage, so I worked for Byju's for the next 4 months. I worked as BDA. I drawn all my salary from there and put it down in my company so that it can survive. After that, I was always searching for investors and VCs on LinkedIn. So I was contacting lots of VCs. Like I have 5,000 followers on LinkedIn, and half of them are VCs or investors of the country. Like I was hitting the follow button on everyone who was having investor or VC written in their bio. So that was a tough period. So I contacted lots of people. In the meanwhile, after reaching around 700 investors, I got one. His name was Mr. Kamal Kishore. He was the director of Dhatu Online. So Dhatu Online is a B2B marketplace for industrial raw materials. Its headquarters in Bangalore. So I pitched my idea to him. He really liked that. So after a few meetings, he decided to invest $500,000 in my company. And along with that, since they were scaling up their Mumbai division, so they asked me that, okay, you can work with us as an AVP and scale up my company as well along with yours. So I took up the challenge. I went to Bombay. We were having a beautiful office in Nariman Point right now. So we started scaling up Dhatu Online in Bombay for the next 5 months. We scaled it up there. And after the end of 5 months, since we are having a good revenue in there, so I was promoted to the board of directors of Dhatu Online as well. So right now I am here running 2 companies, Dhatu Online as well as my company, Milo Doctor, and we are scaling it up with a good pace and a good team. So that's all about me.
So Karan, as far as I know, like the Milo Doctor was before UMedic. So why you are changing like names like that? What's the story behind that?
Yeah. So the story was like it was called UMedic, right? So still our parent company name is UMedic Healthcare Private Limited, but the brand name. So we started penetrating deep into the villages, right? So and since we all know that we are from the Hindi belt, so when you write UMedic in Hindi, it's really difficult to read, right? UMedic. So this is very difficult. So when we were making posters and it was like UMedic was very difficult for people to read. So one from our board of investors suggested that we can go for a term like which can relate to the people, right? Milo Doctor was that word which we can have. So we went for that because UMedic was difficult for speaking, even for a common public who was not much habituated with the English language. So we went that, okay, we'll have a lame term which anyone can spell and anyone can relate. So it's Milo Doctor. That's why.
That's a smart move, definitely. Acha, what is the scale right now? Like in how many cities you are operating and what's the like current scenario of your company?
So right now we are operating in 7 cities. Like the Milo Doctor is operating in 7 cities right now. 5 are from Jharkhand and 1 is from Balia, UP, and 1 is from Bhagalpur, Bihar. So we choose that cities because our already existing hospitals of Jharkhand region, we're having branches there. So we started, okay, we'll have a base there and we can scale it up from there only. So that's how we are operating in Milo Doctor. And for Dhatu, we have offices in major cities, like we are operating in major cities, Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi, and Jamshedpur, the steel and industrial raw materials hub.
Okay. Thank you, Karan. So yeah, next.
Good evening, sir. So my next question would be, sir, like every startup needs some funding to float, right? So where did you get your initial funds from?
So I reached to my dad and along with my friends, right? So it was like we were not initially you don't need that huge fund, right? Suppose we were connecting doctors. What you really need is kind of great in that to be on the fields, right? Because real entrepreneurship begins on the roads, not on the AC meeting hall. So as I told you, right, I was in the incubation period. So I was in the incubation period. They charged me around 4,000 for that. It's about around 2017. Back in 2017. And apart from that, for making a website, like what to operate, we'll just need 2 things, right? A website and a network of doctors. Because when you're starting at the startup, the best thing is you can start with a very small level. Once you scale it up, then you can have a large funding and all. So since we're starting up, we paid 12,000 for website and 4,000 for incubation. So that was around 16,000. So for that amount, I took 10,000 from my dad, which was not very high amount. He can bear it. I was just saving from my pocket money. So that was a good amount. And apart from that, I took 6,000 from my friend that, okay, we can scale it up. So I am putting some amount, so you can put it too. So then we can work together. So that's how I started.
So sir, how was that conversation between you and your father? Like, how did you convince him? Like, Dad, I need some money. I have something in my mind. I need to scale it up. This is it. How was that?
Yeah, so like my dad is a government teacher, right? So he's always inclined to government jobs where you have stability, lots of holidays. Teachers have lots of holidays, right? And everything like that. So when I told him that, Papa, I want to do something and this is the plan, like I can connect doctors and patients. So he never says no to me. He always says, okay, you can do whatever you want. I was having good academics, so he was like happy parent who is supporting his child. So he was like, okay, how much you need? So I said, Papa, around 10,000 will do. And I need to travel frequently apart from my colleges. He said, okay, do whatever you want since you have 4 years. After that, you can go to Delhi and prepare for UPSC. I said, okay, we have time. So that was the plan.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, Karan. My question for you is that how did you manage your friends into your vision, when they were not as enthusiastic as you regarding the idea and the concept?
Yeah. So initially, when I pitched my friend, they were like, since we all were from civil engineering background, right? And the fact is, civil engineers have some seats in government jobs and those ESC and all. So they were like कि यार क्या ये सब कर रहा है, सरकारी नौकरी लेंगे, सिविल मतलब सरकारी नौकरी, you don't have to do all these things. So I said कि okay यार अभी ट्राई करते हैं ना, we are just in first or second year of engineering, हम लोग तैयारी करेंगे यूपीएससी का, ईएससी का भी, but थर्ड ईयर के लास्ट से करेंगे, we have time. So they were like okay let's start. So I was doing the major works. What they were helping in me was कि अच्छा मैं assignment लिख देता हूँ और I can do the practicals for you. So they were doing those things which I wasn't able to doing by staying in the college, and I was on the field. So that's how my friends supported me initially.
That was a nice trade-off. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi Shubham, this is Prabhu. I would like to ask you that, like, given a chance to go back in time and do things differently, what would you have done regarding a startup?
So if I got a time to, if I suppose I can go back to time, what I will do was that I ran the company for 1 year alone, right? I was alone on the field and doing all the works from myself. It was like a C2C job. I was a customer care executive and a CEO as well. So if I can go back to time from past 1 year, after that 1 year, I hired few people in the company. So if I can go back in time, I will start hiring people from initial base as well, right? Because to build $1 billion company, you need $1 billion team. So that's what I learned that lesson in a hard way after 1 year of kind of losing up some money and losing up the user base. So if I can go back in time, I will have few people in the initials only.
Thank you so much, Shubham. That enlightened
Yeah.
very much. Thank you.
Okay, so hi Karan, Rashika this side. My question for you is, how did you compete with the bigger sharks in the industry? Like, what was your approach?
Cool. So my approach was very simple. At first I did the initial market research, what the other companies were offering at that moment of time, or what they're still offering, right? So when I looked into that, and I saw ki, okay, the companies were there, like Pacto and Libre, to name a few, right? So they were doing from very past thing, like 2008, but they were still not making an impact in tier 2 or tier 3 cities, except few 8 cities of the country. So I thought that there must be some reason why these big company with huge fundings are not able to go deep into that. And few companies like Oyo or something like that who came very later are scaling it up. Whereas going to a hospital is a basic necessity rather than going to a hotel. So there must be something, right? So I need to find that flaw and fill it up with my company. So when I searched those company business model, they were selling a clinical management software. They still sell that, right? So suppose you are a very popular doctor, Rasika. You don't have time, right? You are seeing around 60 to 70 patients in a day. So suppose two guys went to you, a first guy from a popular registered company, suppose Practo, they went to you and said that, okay, Rasika, I will manage your clinic. I will get you and give you an online presence. And for that, you have to pay 40,000 for me. I will give you a tablet in which you can see the patient detail. A popular doctor is in his 45 or 50 of age. He doesn't have that much time. And along with that time, he doesn't have that much, what can I say, that much capable staff who can even handle those software. So that was a very much not a cool trade-off with those doctors. So when the next guy moves, suppose I went to you, I came to you like, okay, I will handle all your things. On every day, you don't have to manage any kind of technicalities. We will manage the technicalities. We will not charge you anything. We will give you the pre-results that these 10 patients will be coming to you. Their payments have been paid, and we will manage the crowd of the clinic. So the doctors were coming to us knowing that, okay, we don't have to pay anything. We can give a try on this platform and see what it works, right? So that's how we started capturing those doctors who were having really good crowd and where the real India moves, right? Where they are having 100 to 120 people waiting for them on a daily basis. So that's how we are, what can I say, we are competing up with the big sharks. So that's our plan right now, to give them a service-oriented company rather than selling them a kind of software which they really don't need.
Okay. So thank you, Karan, for the amazing answer. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Hi, Karan. This is Rajesh. So my question to you is, how did you manage your entrepreneurship journey and your academics in addition to the participation in the co-curricular activities? And also, like, how did you keep yourself fit? You couldn't spend all the time working also, but you have to do some, spend time with your family also.
Mm-hmm.
So how was your journey about that?
Okay. So, Rajesh, for that, I thought everything what was going in my life, I related everything to a single part. Suppose I was in a club, right? When I was in my college, I was into a club called Gandhi Smartak Samiti. I joined that club. So whatever I was doing in my life, all things were related, interlinked to each other. So I joined that club. It was a cultural club. I became president of that club. So I was leading lots of people at a single moment of time into cultural activities, into college fest and all. So the learning which I was having from that club, right, the extracurricular activities, that how you manage a team, how you manage a people, how you manage the funds to run a particular small club, that was very much relevant on how you manage a company which were having a 10 to 15 employees. So that was a relatable thing. from next moment when I went to a training and placement cell of my college in the final year, so I was talking to HR, bringing them on our college. So that was very much similar how I talk to the VCs of the company, VCs and investors, and get them on board in my company. So everything was interlinked. And academics, you know that, right? In engineering, we don't study that much. One night before you study and you get 8 or 8.5 CGPA. So that's more than enough. So that's how I was managing everything. And since my college was in my hometown, so I was spending time with my family as well. So it was like everything was interlinked to each other. And after, when I look back right now, the dots connected somehow to each other. So that was the part.
Thank you so much, Karan. Thank you.
Yeah.
So hi Karan, my name is Aman Upadhyay. So what I would like to ask is, what is more important? Like, what would you choose? Brand image with fewer profits, revenue, or more profits with low branding?
Like at the end, we are running a company, so we'll be needing the profits, right? So second one goes really well with me. Well, the reason is very simple. Suppose I make a very big company, which is a very huge loss making, with a second financial of the company. So at the end, okay, I will make a buzz or something like that in the industry. But after a few moment of time, the whole company will get sick. Since it doesn't have a strong financial, it doesn't have a strong base, it will shake down to the assets, right? So I don't want to make something like that. I want to build a legacy which will last for generation. So for me, getting profits is very important in a business. We are doing business for that only. Since if someone is facing the loss, that means that loss will go on to particular people at some moment of time. You can take famous company who are going for IPOs. Like they are a loss-making company. There's no chance of them going to hit profits anytime soon, right? They are hitting for the IPO. Those losses are being covered by normal people. So I don't want my loss to covered by normal people and give burdens to them. So that's a very different thing. But I want to make profits in the company. We are doing the humanitarian thing. We are helping the people out. But at the end of the day, we need to run families, right? We have lots of people in our company, around 200 people in both the companies. We need to run their families as well. So we have to focus on the profits. With profits, we can spend a particular amount of that, suppose 5 or 10% for making the image. That will go hand to hand.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Karan.
Yeah, hi.
So my question to you is, who is your idol and what are the things that you learned that you applied to your business?
That's a very nice one. I follow lots of people, lots of books, but my idol forever is Steve Jobs, right? Back when I was in 10th standard, I read his biography. So it was a very beautiful written in his biography that when he started the company, he was 19-year-old. And in an interview, he said that I have nothing to lose right now. Like I'm just 19-year-old. In the worst scenario, what I will be losing will be my old car, which my parents have given me, and our garage, and the maximum point, right? So this moment, I don't have anything to lose, and I have all the things to gain right now. So I followed that only. So when I started my company, I was relatively 19 at that time also. So it was very much kind of relatable for me. Like what Idol says, that was really true. Since I was having nothing to lose, right, and everything to gain in the moment right now. So I follow Steve Jobs very closely, whether it's his presentation skills and everything, right? He's a great product manager of the century. So he's my idol right now.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
One of my inspiration is also Steve Jobs. Like I also follow him. Like I'm a die-hard fan of him and his work, obviously. So, Karan, describe one like very difficult situation you have faced during your entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah. So the most difficult situation is when everyone around you is getting placed or getting a job and you are just sitting with your companies and no one is like people are losing trust in you. When everyone lose trust, that's okay. But when your parents start losing trust in you, that's a very much difficult phase for anyone, right? So this is of 2020. I was in the training and placement cell of my college. I have placed lots of people in my college, right? Via calling various HRs. So I was not sitting in the placement. I was very much clear in my mind that I will run my company only. So when 2020 came in, and all my neighbor friends who were studying from the same college got placed. So even my parents were like, well, I don't know what he is doing. When neighbors were asking, okay, अच्छा 4 साल तो हो गया, अब इसका आगे क्या plan है? So even they were like, I don't know what he's doing right now. He's thinking that he will become Tata or Ambani next day. So it's like he's in his own wonderland. So that thing's really hard, right? That's a very difficult phase when you're going through, when no one is trusting on you and your vision is getting challenged. So I still have that trust in me. I was having the belief in me. So in that moment, to make my company survive, I joined Byju's for the next 4 months. I showed that, okay, I can do the placement as well. I can do the job as well. I put that money back in my company, and then we scaled it up. So that was a tough phase, which I have gone through personally.
Totally, that is totally relatable to me as well.
Yeah.
And apart from that, what is the most joyful day during this entrepreneurship journey you have?
Yeah, so the joyful day was having my first customer called me, right? So we were having, I was doing everything myself. We made a website, I went to doctors, get them on board. So I was waiting for the first call. So I even pasted the poster myself in around 45 or 50 clinics. Like they were asking ki, so how much you are getting on a daily basis? So I was saying that नहीं ये company मेरी है, मैं ही paste कर रहा हूँ. So they were like, अच्छा पता नहीं क्या कर रहा है. So I pasted the posters myself. And so when I was traveling in Ranchi for adding more doctors, so I got a call. He was saying कि मैंने company का नाम देखा, इसमें कैसे काम होता है, वेबसाइट पे जाना पड़ेगा क्या? I said कि हाँ सर वेबसाइट. So for the next 45 minutes, I sat down at a bus stand. I explained them कि हाँ कैसे काम हो रहा है, and even I made them कि हाँ सर ये Paytm का payment gateway, your payment is safe, completely safe on this platform. So it took us 45 minutes to completely explain them. It was very new for them as well. So they were like, कि अच्छा ठीक है, booking हो गई. So I was very happy that day. We got 2 patients that day. So that was the most happiest day when you got your first patients called up, when you got your first users, early adapters to be specific.
True, definitely.
Yeah.
So, and what advice you would like to give to our all the upcoming and aspiring entrepreneurs?
The most important advice or which suggestion which I can give is to have a firm belief in your vision, right? Like this is your story and you are the hero of your own journey, right? So you should be always be having the belief that, okay, I'm doing this thing. I will do it with all my honesty. Honesty is a very important fact, and integrity. I will do it with my own honesty and I will trust the process, and somehow with the results will came in, right? There's always light at the end of the tunnel. You have to have a firm belief that whatever I am doing is going to turn out to be really well, and whatever the odds will be, I will fight it out. For that, whenever I have that doubt in my vision or something, not vision, when I am having that bad days, I listen to the story of that Vijay Sekhar Sharma, how he suffered for around 7 to 6 years to get just a single funding, despite having all the things earlier, right? He loosened all those things to stand, make the Paytm where it is today. So all the people who have done great things, they have faced the same stories, right? You will see that they were facing the same challenge. As Steve Jobs said, right? You should be prepared to get hit on a brick, or to get hit by a brick on your face, and you should be smiling at the journey and keep going on. So that's what I believe in. You should have a firm belief in your vision, and you should keep walking and have a positive smile on your face, so that you can spread this positivity as well.
Amazing. Your experiences are like really insightful and inspiring. So that will be our question and answer session. So Brijesh, you are next. Like floor is up to you.
I do have a question before.
Yeah, sure. Rashi, go on.
So I have a question for you. According to you, what is the difference between a raw student starting his own venture and a professional who already have a work experience and then he's starting his own business? So according to you, what is the difference and what do you think is better?
Look, to be specific, if I say everything has its own pros and cons, when you are starting in a raw student form or a raw form, right? The pros you are having is that you are unknown to the difficulties which are going to come in your way. So I will tell you very frankly, if I knew that I will be facing these much difficulties in my life, I would rather take my dad option, went to the Delhi and prepare for UPSC, right? So earlier I was completely unaware that my journey is going to be this much difficult. So being a raw student or being a raw person in the whole industry helps you that for you everything is like, acha theek hai, dekh lenge. We can see, right? When it will come, I will face that. When you are professional, you are little bit, what can I say? You can feel awkward standing in some front of somewhere, pitching your idea to lots of people because you have seen that corporate structure and all, right? So that's the pros of being a raw person. The pros of being a experienced person or being a professional is that you have the networks with you. Network is a very important thing in entrepreneurship journey. So suppose you are having a professional career, you have worked with some good firms, so you have a network, you can tap those network and get your work done. So both are having their own pros and cons. So if you are starting at a very young age, being raw is a very good thing. But if you have gained some professional experience, then it is also an edge point where you can have that right access to the right network at the particular amount of time.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so I would like to ask something. Can you describe your usual, like, typical day?
So I started at 9 a.m. Like we have morning meetings. So since we are a startup, right? So before the meetings, I read books on daily basis in the morning and as well in the evening. But my work started at 9 a.m. in the morning. So since we are a startup, I want my employees to get a direct access to me, right? Not a corporate culture like you have to reach few steps to reach a boss. So I do direct meeting with my employees who are going on the fields. Fields is a very important part in any company, which is a service-based company, since they are reflecting your brand image, they are reflecting your company name on the field. So I talk to them, whatever queries they have, and I try to resolve them at an immediate basis because they are on the fields, they are in need of help. If they are taken care of really well, they can take care of the company as well. So for me, my employees are very important. So I start my morning by taking their concern, like, okay, you are going for this plan. do any support you need from my side, do any help you need, what can I talk to the HR, do you having any facing anything, is your payments are getting cleared, like the traveling TADA part. And after that, since the operation part has been completed for the morning part, I sit with my tech team for having the what future plans which we are going to implement, where we can work on the UI part, on the UX part. And after that, we plan for the marketing thing, how we can scale it up, what are the places where we can put the posters, banners, how the posters should look really. So I do these things mostly, right? I have some leisure time after the whole meetings get over. I have a daily meeting with my investors on scaling up both the companies. So first half I work with for the Umedic Healthcare Private Limited, Milo Doctor. The second half I looked into operations of Dhatu, like how we are scaling it up, how many orders we are getting in Mumbai and Delhi region and Bangalore region. And then after that, I got my free time. I do watch 1 hour of any kind of entertainment like web series and all. I am a big fan of Suits. So whenever I get time, I rewatch that whole series. So that's my whole day. I do read books on a daily basis. So that's the whole part.
High five, Karan. I'm also a really very big fan of Suits. I have seen all the 10 season. And
9.
Yeah, 9 season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, yes, 9 seasons.
Our Spectre is love, right?
Yes,
Avi Spectre
exactly.
and
exactly.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike also left
Actually,
after 7, but
that season would have continued, but she got married. So Rachel got married. That's why it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Karan, I would like to ask something like what actions and strategies you have taken to expand your business to like expand it to the like tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and what major problems that you have faced?
So like as I told you, right, we were facing the initially we were facing the problem of having the people who are early adopters of a particular tech. So to tackle the same, what we started doing is that at the first contact area of any hospital, clinic, or any individual doctor is the staffs which are available there, right? So for us, like what we started doing is that we started incentivizing the people who were working in the reception desk, who were the what can I say, personal compounder of few doctors. So whenever some words are coming from the hospital staff or hospital people, it's a very trustworthy word which people trust, right? Suppose you call into hospital right now and they said that, okay, get your appointment from Milo Doctor. So the people started moving from there. So this was how we started going deep into the people mindset, or how we started deep into the people house by going to their, by tapping the reception desk and incentivizing them. Okay, if we get a particular number of appointment, I will pay you personally this much. So we'll give you gift vouchers of Amazon, a particular restaurant or something like that. So they were like happy that, okay, I am getting something. Since there's one more thing is that they work on a less salary. So if you gave them some gifts which are equivalent to their salary, so this is a very good thing. So we started incentivizing those spots, and that's how we targeted the hotspot of those regions, and we started scaling it up from there.
Hi, Karan.
Yeah, hi.
Karan, where do you see yourself in 10 years, like 10 years down the line?
Retired. 10 years down the line, I will basically be chilling at some place, right? Or I will retire. Like it's a very hard work. We will scale the company to a very good level in the next 5 years. And after from that, I will scale the people from tier 2, tier 3 cities to make the startups and to help more and more people, right? So along with my retirement, I will be doing that also.
So what's the definition of success to you? Like in terms of your startup or on a personal note, or what is it exactly?
Success is that every morning you're waking up and you're doing something which you love doing, right? So that's success for me. So suppose even if I am 65 or 70 at that moment of time, if I'm waking up every morning, I'm doing what I love, that will be a definition of success for me. That yeah, I have been successful in my life. I am doing everything what I always wanted to do, and I'm staying happy in my life. When you stay happy in your work, you can really give 120% into it.
Thank you, sir.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I have one more question for you. My question is, how was your first year after launching your startup? Like, what was the customer response like, and what was your marketing strategy? How did you go with that?
Yeah. So after launching the startup, like it took us very long to get initial users, because as I told you, right, for the first year I was working alone. So I have to do all the visits with the hospitals and doctors and brief them about that. So at that moment also, we are not incentivizing the staff, but at that moment also I was briefing the staff that, okay, sir, you can get the appointment. You can tell the people to get the appointment from my website. We were not having even app at that moment of time. So from my website, and people can get it easily from me, get the appointments easily. So for the first 1 year, it was a really difficult period where I was lagging at lots of points to get the appointment scaled up. I met my mentor at that moment of time, Mr. Navneet Kumar. So he helped me that, okay, you can do these things, or what you can do is that you can start tracking the doctor's prescriptions, right? Doctor prescription is something which everyone takes home with themselves, and they keep it with themselves for a very long period. So what we started doing is that 4 or 5 hospitals, top hospitals with which we were operating, I discussed with their owner, since as I told you, right, I was very young. So they were like, "Acha, theek hai, bacha hai, help kar dete." So I said that, "Okay, sir, if you give us space on your prescription and we can write, you can get your appointment from this website, it will very big help for us." So the hospital started doing that. And within few months, we started seeing lots of turnout, because the people who were getting one appointment and they were looking for the next appointment, they usually used to see in the prescription format, and they used to see our website. So that's how we started scaling up in the first year of our operations.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Like, what is the one thing that kept you going on in the initial stage of start? Like, there have been some times that you have been facing losses or like negative feedbacks from your family or like pressuring to you to the job. Like, what has been like kept you going through the startup?
Yeah, so the journey, so the reason why I was doing everything despite all the odds were like, I really wanted to make healthcare more accessible, right? I'm crazy about that. So whenever I was feeling low, I used to visit hospitals and see how people were like sitting on the floor, right? They were not even having a proper place to sit. They were just sitting outside on the floor, and they were just, what can I say, the children were crying. I said that, okay, I will make everything right. I will give these people the respect, the healthcare, since healthcare is a very basic thing, right? It's like a human right. So I thought that I was always work on the same mission to make these people get a quality healthcare access, which even I can get with a particular amount of money, so they can also be eligible to get that. So that always helped me going that, yeah, I'm doing something to make these people uplift and give them their desired respect, and along with that, a quality healthcare service. So that always keep me going, right, to make healthcare more accessible for every people, despite their gender, caste, creed, or any kind of economic conditions.
Thank you so much, Karan.
Yeah.
Hi, Karan. So our team has prepared a small situation for you. So the situation is, suppose like you are stranded on an island. So who is the person is like you want to be with? Like one person has to be with you. So who is that person?
Can I get a dead person as well?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay. So if I'm at an island, right, and how much time I can spend at that island?
So you're stuck at the island. Like the rescue services will be like 24 hours.
24 hours. So at that moment of time, it will be, I guess, sadly Satya, right? That will be a very good thing. That will be the best thing.
What kind of conversation will you be having? Like, can you explain the conversation?
I'm a big fan. I've heard everything. You are having really a good persona, right? So I'm doing work all the day. So if I'm getting a chance where I'm getting stuck with someone, so it has to be someone special, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Rest, everything is available on the books. You can go read the books, read it twice or thrice, so you can get the knowledge. But in life, you should have a good personal experience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly. Karan, I would like to have a follow-up question related to your startup. So you just got funded. Okay. So what was the approach? How did you approach that guy or your investor? And I will want to know some technicals, like what was the process and what was the revenue model and everything you pitched to him, like the presentation thing. So you can just brief about.
Yeah. So I got him from the LinkedIn, as I told you, right? I was texting on LinkedIn to lots of investors and getting them setting up meeting with them. So in the whole period, I was having one meeting daily with some particular kind of investor. So I met him back in 2020 March, when the pandemic haven't started yet. So I briefed him the idea. He was like, no, I'm not interested right now, and your financial is not correct, and I can't invest in it. He just rejected me, right? So back in November of 2020, he called me directly and he said that, okay, you were the one who presented me some healthcare stuff, right? So I guess I can have some plans for you. So you come to Delhi and we will discuss. I have some plans in my mind. So I didn't ask him, right? He just said, come to Delhi. That was in November. People were like panicking still from the pandemic. And my parents were like, oh my God, ये फिर से कुछ करने जा रहा है. So like, अब Delhi क्यों जाना है? वो भी इतना peak में, Delhi में बहुत ज़्यादा pandemic था. उस time cases थे. So I still went there. Even I didn't know कि we will be getting funding and everything like that, right? So I thought कि ऐसा ठीक experience होगा. I will get some experience and I have to go there. So I went there for experience. He have a 3-day meeting with me. We were staying together in his flat. So he was like having a very big plan for me. Like I told you, right? I got promoted to director of Dhatu Online as well. So maybe he saw that some spark or something like that. He called me. We were staying together. We were having daily meetings. So I presented him the next 3-year plan of ours, like how we are going from appointment scheduling to emergency services to taxi services and then to medical tourism. So he was like, okay, your financials are looking correct to me right now. Despite that, financial was the same which I presented him in the March month. So that's a secret, right? So even he liked it. Okay, now this financial looks good. I can go with you. So we were having around a 2 to 3 hour robust discussion. about what the percentage share of company will go to him and will be staying to me. So after that discussion got over, we were having around, I lose a very huge amount of stake, like around 25% in the first round of my funding. But since it was seed round, it can carry well as well. So that was the whole technicalities, right? I presented into the next 3-year plan. I divided into the quarterly plans, like what we were doing in the first quarter, second quarter, how revenue we will be needing, and how revenue will be generating, and what the technical staff and how people we will be hiring. So that was the whole technicalities which I've gone through.
So what was the business model and revenue model you have pitched? Like how you are making money? It's a subscription or what?
Yeah, so what I pitched that it was a very simple business model, which even Airbnb follows in the initial moment of time. So the revenue model is very simple. We charge a commission of 7% on each and every appointment that is getting scheduled through our website. Since I told you, right, we don't charge anything from hospital or doctors, so that's our edge point on getting those people to use our platform. And in the revenue model, we are tapping that particular demand and supply gap chain thing. So since those doctors are very good in their field and they are having really good demand, so demand is already high. Since they were not available on any other platform, so there's a supply chain gap. We are providing that supply through our platform. So people are seeing that only one method is available to go to those doctors. So they are going from our platform. So they're happy paying us a little extra amount. Suppose a doctor appointment fee is 700, we are taking 749. So 49 is not very much high amount, despite saving their 4 or 5 hours of time. So they were happy, users were happy, and the doctors were happy too. So I pitched the same business plan to my investors, that we will be tapping this demand supply chain. We will be having a hindrance in getting a good number of profit in initial amount of time. But once when we hit a particular number of amount of appointment on daily basis, we will hit the break-even period, and we'll start generating profits. So that was the whole point.
Great. So right now, how many users are you're having, like the total users and the daily active users on your platform?
Yeah, so we have 25,000 users till now, and the daily active users I found for 400 to 500 who are taking appointments on daily basis. So we are trying to hit 1,000 number by the end of September 2021, and that's how we are scaling right now. 25,000 is the registered number of users which we are having till now.
Great. And how you actually hire talents? Like do you do it by yourself, or you have a hiring team for that?
Yeah, no, I do it myself. Like we have a hiring team. They give me the candidates which they have screened in initial moment of time. But I learned from the founder of Airbnb, Brian Chesky, right? He said that he hired 100 people, the first 100 employees in his company himself. So I followed the same, because being a founder, being a CEO, you just need people who can align with your vision. And that is very important in the initial moment of time when your company is scaling up. So whenever the candidates get reached to me after screening up, I look for the integrity in them and for the zeal to work hard, right? Since we are a startup company, I can't tell you that, okay, we'll be having a 4-hour work week and everything will be like nice and a beautiful Disney story. This is not like that. We are having a really tough time. We are working around 10 to 12 hours on a daily basis. We didn't have even 8 hours of work. So it's a hard thing. So what I look in our teammate or in our employees is that hardworking thing or that spark. I hire for character, and we can train them any skill which we want, right? So we are having people who are from chemical engineering background, and they are doing really good work into the graphic designing part. So it's just that if you have the zeal to work hard, you can scale it up. So I hire for the same thing, and we hire for character and the train skills into them.
Amazing. And like if somebody is not coping up with your expectations, so how you manage that kind of situation?
Yeah, so if someone is not coping up with the situation, so there must be some reason behind that. So at initial amount of time, I just give them time to adjust to the whole scenario which we are changing right now, or the whole space with which the team is going on. If they are still not able to match up, I do a one-to-one meeting, because for me, my teammates are very important, as I initially told you, because I've hired them with a very much big plans for them to have them as a senior manager or something like that after a few years down the road. So when I see them and when I look them that they are not matching up to the expectation, there must be something which is bothering them. So I just try to interact them on a personal human level, not a boss or employee level, on a personal human level, and try to learn what they are facing and how they are facing problems right now, and what I can do personally to help them up. So that's how I manage my people who are not keeping up with the pace. And it's that if you trust on the people, we give them time, they will definitely manage the pace and they will do far better, which everyone else is doing. So we just need to trust the people, which is lacking in the Indian ecosystem, right? Business ecosystem. We don't trust each other. So if you trust our people, they will definitely scale the whole company at a particular moment of time.
100% true. So I'll be having one last advice from you.
Yeah,
many
I'm
of
doing
us from like a lot of people in our batch is having startup ideas, okay, but they're not very sure about it. So how they can get clarity about their idea, and how they can judge that they're having that kind of a passion to dive into it. So you can just shed few thoughts on that.
Yeah. So there are two things, right? How we can work on the idea and how we can get the passion. So coming to the first point, how we can get the idea rolling out in the proper format. So for that, we need to have an MVP, right? Minimum viable product. So when I was even doing my workout, when I was scaling my company, so I made the website. I reached to a few number of doctors, and I waited till I reached, what can I say? In MVP, there are a standard number called 1,000 users or 1,000 sales of a product. So I reached to till the point where we hit the target of 1,000 number, right? So I get the feedback from, until then, you have to get the feedback from all the people who are using your product. So I did the same thing. So suppose if you are starting up a company or if you have any idea, you don't need very high funding. You don't need to expand in 10 of 100 of countries. You just need to start small. That's the best part about startup. You can start really small. So I started small. You can also start small. Check into, like, get the feedback from the real people, real user, real customer, apart from your families and friends, right? So they can give you the real feedback, and then you can add those changes if needed, and then you can scale it up. You can go to a VC that, like, see, this is our model. We have got our minimal viable product is tested. We have got our 1,000 user, and now we need to scale it up. So that's a very important part. To, even if you have an idea, you just need to start working on it, right? Start working on it, build a MVP, and then approach to people and even investors as well. Since SIBM is a very good college, so they must be having great professors who can support you as well to get the investors as well. So it's a very nice thing that you're in a very good college. So along with that, you can have a basic MVP, so that you can, so that, okay, our product is tested and we're having active users, and then you can scale it up by going to a VC. That's the first point. And next thing is about passion, right? So the thing is that you have to be dedicated or committed to something. Suppose if I'm working in the edtech industry, I'm just giving an example. Suppose if I'm in the edtech industry, I need to have a vision for myself or for my company. So mostly in the edtech industry right now is just a sales company. It's not developing education. It's not imparting good quality education into it. So if I'm moving into the edtech industry, I will just work really hard on that, and I will have a mission that, okay, I will make each and every student which I can really educated and impart them with quality education. So until that education is not achieved, I will not going to I'm not going to stop down. So you need to find that spark which is going to last no matter how difficult things have will be coming up to you. So that's the point, right? Developing an MVP and finding out a point which will spark you every time when you're losing that spark.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, that will be it from my side.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Karan, for your enlightening words to us. So in end, we would like to start with a rapid fire round. So I will be asking you questions, and you don't need to think. What the thing comes in your mind, you just have to answer. So here it goes. Favorite entrepreneur?
Elon Musk right now.
जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा और ये जवानी है दीवानी.
जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा.
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Corsica. Ranbir Kapoor and Deepika Padukone in that movie. Tamasa.
Wonderful choice. Wonderful choice. Favorite book?
Screw It, Let's Do It. Richard Branson, Virgin Group founder.
Definitely going to read it. 3 words that describe you.
Committed, passionate, energetic.
And next is an adventure sport that you would like to try.
I am trying hiking these days. I went to hiking for a few places like Chandrasila and Chopta, and in the Uttarakhand and Himachal. I'm loving it, right? So hiking is a beautiful sport which I'm trying, adventure sport.
I also like hiking. What do you miss the most after starting your business?
Sleeping for more than 8 hours or sometimes 7 hours.
Favorite subject in your school?
I love history, right? It was my favorite subject. I used to score really good in that.
Wonderful. And last question is, what with the superpower, if you could have, which is the one superpower which you could have?
I really wanted to have that tech thing which Elon Musk had. Not that, what can I say, physical hurt, but the tech mindset which he was having to make those kinds of stuff like Jarvis and all. I'm from civil background, right? So you can relate. Civil engineers don't have any coding knowledge. So if I can get that much coding knowledge, that will be really amazing. I can do coding as well on my website. So I will remove that tech team.
Thank you so much, Karan. That will be all. Thank you so much for your insightful words.
Yeah. It was really nice meeting you all.